Thank you very much for the excellent question. The first thing is that I was lucky to be born into a family that valued intellectual activities. So I really did have the advantage of having special teachers teach me since I was 3 years old. So that brought me into science and made me curious of a lot of the things I heard about, and I was determined to learn more about them when I would come up. Another real situation that helped me was that when I was 5 years old, my father, whom you see there on the wall, is now late, developed a library for me at home. And I had the opportunity to read about the great scientists like Einstein, and many, many others. I also had the opportunity to read the classics too, not just science, but some of the greatest poets and people who were in the literary arena. So I read these things early and they caught my interest. You know that right now in itself, I am in two basic careers. One of them is science, the other one is the humanities. So I'm professor in both fields, and I don't really recognize any boundary between or among fields. But out of intellectual things, I think I would have been in fashion. I really think so, because my mom was in fashion, and earlier on I took a liking to that sector. But we were not encouraged to be there. My mom always said, Hilary, read, 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 and read, because she was my primary school teacher. Yes. Very difficult to choose, because I have been in very extreme parts of the world. I have led U.S. scientific expeditions to the Amazon, and that's in South America, Chinese Academy of Sciences expedition to more than 500 villages in China. I have gone towards the North Pole, as being one of the American scientists selected to do expedition with scientists of the Russian Academy of Sciences in the very far northern parts of the world, in Siberia. I've been everywhere, basically. But I think, in direct answer to your question, the most fascinating place I have been in is Nizhny Novgorod in Russia, Siberia, because it was so out of this world, the nature of life in those northern territories of the world. And having to be in a place that was 6 months daylight, that would be followed by 6 months of nighttime continuous, is something that is very strange. But so I would choose Nizhny Novgorod, Russia, near a place called Novosibirsk, as the most the strangest place that I have had to do my scientific work. The personal ones or the ones by all the other folks? Let me have some humility by talking about the breakthroughs by my competitors. Sometimes breakthrough by people who were there before my time. I think one of the the most important one in science, I think, is something that happened a very long time ago. You are even involved in that industry. Capacity to capture a picture here and transmit that picture to another location. That has to be very spiritual, beyond scientific. That is to capture the scenery and then have that scenery play thousands and thousands of miles away And sometimes it can even be capturing the scenery in space and transmitting it from that space station to some location here on Earth. So we have to look at that as one of the greatest. Let me say that, let me comment about the remark you just made about scientists. Yes, quite some people think that scientists are very queer. Not all the time. I remember science itself is exploration of phenomena around us. There is the formal science that I would go into a laboratory. As I don't know, you may realize I live alone in this place. Workers come and go, but I live alone to think. That's very formal, right? But there is the informal way that scientists also operate. So if I go outside and see some phenomena happen, that may attract my curiosity. So science is sometimes exploration of the things around us, not necessarily when I sit down and say, okay, now it's time to write the equation between this factor and those other things. There are those other times when things have been tackling for a long time and I'm not able to grasp them. But one day I try to grasp them in a formal way. The answer to such a mystical or a mystique may be when I'm taking a shower. It may be when I'm walking down the street and running. I may suddenly realize the linkages that have avoided me for so long. So science is like that. But in direct answer to your question, what does a person like me do? I listen to jazz music. Sometimes I listen to the blues. Sometimes I even get lost. I don't recognize where I am. I don't remember where I am. That is the truth. Even some people, they say, oh, that man maybe is very intelligent. We are not intelligent all the time. I can tell you that sometimes I don't know where I am. I have to be touched to realize that this is where I'm sitting. I'm still Hilary Inyang. Yes.